Hi guys, the Benidorm Enthusiast here. We're coming to the end of 2022 and what a year it's been. As a comeback year for Benidorm, I think it's been absolutely brilliant. Above and beyond what I expected at the start of the year. But what lies ahead for 2023? With so much uncertainty going on with the economies across the world, are we in for a tough year? That's what I'm going to be discussing on today's video, as well as a general review of 2022. If you've been following our videos throughout the year, you'll have seen we have had some incredibly busy months this year. Going on Hosbeck figures, we didn't quite hit 2019 pre-pandemic numbers, but there were some months that were very close. Hosbeck is the leading hotel and tourism association for the Valencian community, but not all tourist accommodations are included in their figures. So it's not a complete picture of how it's been over here the last year, but it is a good guide. The green bars on the graph are the Hosbeck occupancy figures from 2019, and the yellow are from 2022. The start of the year was slow, as we still had restrictions in place, COVID passports and masks, for example. Springtime was when we really saw the resort picking up number-wise. Unfortunately, the weather was pretty terrible for most of March and April. It was one of the wettest springs on record, and that will have put a lot of last-minute bookings off. May was the first month when we got close to 2019 figures according to Hosbeck, although I personally think it felt busier than ever that month. And a lot of business owners here agree. It was the first time many were holidaying after the pandemic. People went wild when they got here. They certainly did make up for lost time. The bars were packed day and night and the tills didn't stop ringing. And that should have really continued into June, which is normally one of the busiest months for the Brits and the Irish, but there were a lot of flight and holiday cancellations due to staff shortages in the UK and Ireland that month. The summer went very well and it was very hot, one of the hottest summers on record, the hottest in the last 60 years. Heatwave after heatwave hit the Costa Blanca. It was intense to say the least. 2022 in fact has now been confirmed as Spain's hottest year ever, going on average temperatures over the last 12 months. Hosbeck numbers for Benidorm were very close to 2019 for most of July, August and September. And I recall a lot more Brits this year in August too. It's surprisingly usually quite a quiet time for the Brits and the Irish in Benidorm in August. Well, at least for the bars anyway. It's family time here, and many families that visit spend their days at the water parks, on the beaches, visiting zoos or the theme parks, and doing some of the many family activities that Benidorm has to offer. Families often also then stay in the hotels in the evenings for more family-orientated entertainment. This year, I think we did see more couples and friend groups in August, although many were understandably complaining about the crazy heat and said they would think again before booking an August holiday. It is a very hot and a very humid month. September was great and the second half of October got pretty close to 2019 figures too. The November fiestas were incredible. Close to 40,000 people came out for Fancy Dress Day. I'm not sure how many there were in 2019, but I don't think there were that many. And this year's party was more spread out around the new town rather than just concentrating on the strip and the square as in previous years. Pretty much all the new town bars were extremely busy that day, and I really think next year's is going to be amazing. When December arrived, the weather was pretty miserable at the start and numbers were well down on 2019. But the second half of December we did see a lot of last minute bookings. We were getting pretty worried at one point as Christmas crept up and it was still very, very quiet. But late arrivals filled up the resort. Our sunshine returned with a vengeance this Christmas and loads of tourists have flooded in for New Year. It's going to be a good one. So what are we all thinking for 2023? Well, I speak to a lot of people here in Benidorm on a daily basis, residents, business owners and tourists of course. And whilst most are trying to think positive about 2023, cost of living crisis, energy costs, inflation and recession are thrown into almost every conversation we have at the moment. It is a worrying time for many, not just in the UK and Ireland, but here in Spain too, and I would imagine the rest of Europe as well. You're definitely one of the few lucky ones if you're not worried about money at the moment. And of course, holidays are a luxury and one of the first things to come off the list when tightening the money belt. I don't think as many Brits are booking next year yet. From those that I've spoke to recently, many are waiting to see how much it costs to get through winter before they even think about booking a summer holiday. Prices have risen here too. Electricity, gas, petrol and some food and drink items. And that all combines to a rise in hotel, flight and general holiday prices. There are some bargains around for January and February, especially at the moment. I have to say, plenty of weeks away for around 250 quid. And if you're fortunate enough to be able to do a long winter stay, you can get a month all inclusive for less than £1,500. That's flights, transfers, all your food and drink and heating on as often as you want for one of the coldest winter months. It's worth thinking about if you're lucky enough to be able to do it. I often post offers on the Benidorm Enthusiast Facebook page, so keep an eye on that if you're looking for a deal. Of course, Brexit, yes, I said it, the dreaded B word, has put a stop to a lot of long stayers coming in winter. The 90-day rule has limited for many who wanted to come out for colder months. From what I'm seeing online, have these already used up their days. We used to see thousands coming in for 3 or 4 month stays over winter from the UK, but they just can't do it like that anymore. Spain is pushing for change with the 90-day rule. At the moment there's nothing in concrete, but there is a lot of pressure to change the rules. We'll do a video soon on that subject and how likely it is to change in 2023. Another factor this Christmas, which I believe put off a lot of last minute bookings, was all the strikes going on. People have not been wanting to book a holiday because they're just not convinced they'll actually get to their destination, or they're thinking it will be a lot of hassle and there'll be a lot of anxiety involved to do so. And again, that's completely understandable. Will it continue into 2023? We'll have to wait and see. One thing's for sure, we are very blessed to have such a loyal following in Benidorm. Tourists that just love the place with all their hearts and will do anything in their power to get here at some point. I've also met a lot of newbies this year, those who have been watching our videos and finally taken the plunge and given Benidorm a try. And most cannot believe they've been waiting so long to do so. Once they get here, they realise it's nothing like what they've been led to believe for many years. And I hope those newbies will come back time and time again and make up for the lost time. Whatever happens next year, we will deal with it the best we can. You know me, I always like to stay positive, but I'm also realistic, and I do think it's going to be a pretty tough one. I wish you all the best for 2023. Look after one another and be kind. We will continue with these videos, and whatever is thrown at us, we will show you along the way how Benidorm is doing. So make sure you subscribe to the channel and let's see if we can get to 50,000 subscribers in 2023. It costs you nothing to subscribe to our YouTube channel, but it does help us out massively to get our videos out there. Also, check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok at the Benidorm Enthusiast. Stay positive, stay safe and a Happy New Year to you all.